It's hard to say right now as the corona crisis intensifies, but there just might be some upside to all this trouble. After many years of angst over what might be described as first world problems, the downside, if you like, of having it very good for very long, at least that now seems that some of us have been mugged by reality. As I said, I'm keeping a close eye on governments using this crisis as cover to make decisions that rather no one really noticed, particularly our state governments, that in my view don't get enough scrutiny in regular times, let alone now. In political circles, they call this taking out the trash. It happens late on Friday nights and in crisis times like this. Take the Andrews government here in Victoria, which has just quietly let slip its long-standing ban on gas exploration and extraction. Now, you don't need me to tell you that the Andrews government is the most politically correct government in the country, with gender fluidity programs in schools, new laws allowing a yearly change of gender, euthanasia and illegal drug injecting rooms. On the energy front, it's committed to a 50% renewable energy target and net zero emissions by 2050, as well as putting new taxes on coal to shut down power stations and making it impossible for any new fossil fuels to ever be explored for, let alone extracted and used in Victoria. But with even Labor governments now waking up to the fact it will be hard to keep the lights on when the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing, and with everyone suddenly focused on minimising health risks and maximising economic resilience, well, fossil fuels might not be so bad after all. You see, it's all very well saving the planet in 50 years' time, but what if we can't save the country now from a deadly disease because we don't have the capacity to manufacture, say, enough ventilators here, or half of what's sold on our supermarket shelves, or God help us, even medical face masks? It's all very well being a global citizen, a good global citizen, isn't it? But it's the Australian government and not the United Nations that looks after us in any real crisis. When things are bad, it's no good saying that, yes, of course, don't worry, we can import those medical compounds from China or oil from America, because they just won't sell it to us. And rightly so. They're focused on protecting their own people. But even if the company is based here in Australia, if it's foreign owned and foreign managed, there's a good chance in a crisis it will ship whatever it makes here overseas. So yes, we have to get through this crisis as best we can. And I think the Morrison government so far has risen to every test. But when it's over, as it will be in 3 or 6 or 12 months' time, we cannot afford to go back to business as usual. From here on in, we cannot sit by and let a new mine or a new dam get kiboshed because of a yellow-bellied parrot or a green-banded frog or a blue-ringed octopus or whatever the latest stalling tactic might be. We've got energy reserves that are the envy of the world in Australia. So we've got to use them to make us as strong as we can be in both an economic and an energy security sense. We can't let all our regulators either put avoiding all business risk ahead of seizing business and manufacturing opportunities here. When it comes to being smart people, we can't let giving every child a prize make our schools and our students less academically successful than Kazakhstan, which is sadly Australia's reality. In the end, we have to look after ourselves, back ourselves, and put Australia first. To do this, it isn't about surrendering our values or our ideals. In fact, all it really requires is a hard-headed appreciation that the only real champion for our values, for Australia's values, is ourselves.